Hi guys, and welcome to this morning's 5-minute butt blast. Please excuse the old spandex fancy dress thing, but basically because of the area we're going to be working on today, it's quite important that we actually emphasise the technique. So I'm kind of hoping, not entirely sure, but I'm kind of hoping that you can actually pick this up on the video when we go through the bits of it. Now, this area that we're working on, the glute, is really important in terms of walking, running, lifting, that sort of stuff. But it is quite resilient. So what tends to happen is that when we're training normally to sort of emphasise this area or to really get into it, we tend to use sort of resistance equipment to create overload. So today we're going to have a little play with no equipment. The first 5 exercises that I'm going to go through, really quite basic, but the subtlety is in the technique. And then second part of it, we're just adding a couple of bit more dynamic movements if you want to make it a bit more of an intense workout. So to begin with, what we're going to start with, I'm going to go probably a minute on the squat and then 30 seconds each side of the lunge so you can see what's going on. But basically, we're going to start with feet about hip width apart. The emphasis, as normal, is in pushing the backside backwards and down. But what I'd like you to focus on this time for me is as you press back, it's on the upward phase. As you come up, I want you to squeeze the glutes in nice and tight at the top end. So we come back down again. And then we squeeze as we come up. So you get a little tension in the backside there. We come back down and then we squeeze up. Remember to breathe out on the effort as you're squeezing so that we don't get too much breath holding, blood pressure increase, etc. So we're down and then we squeeze and we're up. And then we're down and we squeeze to the top end. And again. So these are nice, low impact exercises with the emphasis always on leading down with the butt, but squeezing the glutes nice and tight as you come back up. Got about another 10 seconds to go on the squat, and then we're going to take it over into the lunge. Now with the lunge, it's really important that we actually activate the correct muscles, otherwise you're going to get more of a quad and a hamstring workout. So, same basic principles with the lunge as we normally do, so we're reversing it, we're taking it back, lead down with the knee. And this is the bit I want you to focus on. As we come up, it's this bit here that squeezes to pull the leg backwards. Then we relax, we come back down. We squeeze and focus on there. Back down, and then the squeeze and focus is on this part of your backside, just here to pull the leg backwards. Okay, and as I work the other side, I'm just going to turn around so you can keep an eye on this again. So from where we are, heels clear, knees straight down, the movement is straight up, but the emphasis is on this bit. We come back down again and squeeze as this pulls the leg backwards. Nice and tall, focus through there. So the squeeze is at the top. Now, it takes a bit of getting used to if you're not used to activating individual muscles, so don't be surprised if you're struggling to actually feel this engaged to begin with. Now from there we're going to go down to a couple of exercises we do on the floor. Essentially, these are about, again, trying to activate this bit. We're going to start with a bridge. Now initially, hands on the floor, keeps it all nice and stable, feet directly under the knees, or ankles directly under the knees, should say. And then from there, we're just going to drive up into our bridge. And again, the emphasis is on this bit, squeezing as we go up. We come down and we relax, and then as we drive the hips up, we squeeze through the glutes. We bring it back down again, and then we drive up. We're going to have to sort me out a timer, I think. And squeeze it up, about another 10 seconds. So this is working both sides at the same time as we work through. Now this time, we're going to go to single leg. So I'm going to bring one foot over the top, just to give you a little bit of balance. And then we're going to drive up. Again, emphasis on squeezing through the glutes as we push up. Now if you want to turn it into a little bit more of a core exercise as well, extending the arms up and out of the way puts a bit more of a challenge on the balance mechanisms, but the focus must still be on that squeeze just there. Okay, now we're going to change sides again. So again, so you can actually keep an eye on this, I'm going to spin it so that we're in place, and then we're up and squeeze, up and squeeze. So from there, you got it just in nice and controlled. And again, if we're aiming to challenge it, a little bit more core work, we drive up through there. Now, one of the really old exercises, been going since I've been in the industry for about 25 years, it's what we call kickbacks or donkey kicks. Now the key with this one is you try and keep the movement going up towards the ceiling. So again, we engage the backside. So if you're used to doing a back mobility exercise we done last week, you'll see this position as what we call 4-point kneeling. I'm going to come forward a fraction so you can actually see. Now from there, the key with it is to try and maintain a right angle at the knee and then drive up using the glute muscle or the backside again. So to maintain some degree of balance, you're going to 4-point kneeling, which is basically hands directly below the shoulders, knees about hip width apart, and the focus again is on driving up towards the ceiling and squeezing that glute. But again, it's really important you keep the breathing nice and relaxed, there's no breath holding going on, as we get that little squeeze up to the top, then relax. Begin that squeeze to a peak, then relax. And again. And this time we'll get it the right way around. I hope you spin it, so we focus on this one. Again, same set position. Back should be in neutral. And then we drive up. Bring it back down as we relax. Squeeze to the top. And then squeeze to the top. Now, as I said at the beginning, these are really subtle movements to try and emphasise a particular muscle that is actually part of a massive chain of muscles that works in concert. Now, they're better emphasised. If we were to go through that again, it's about 5 minutes, I think. If we were to go through that again, but this time put some more dynamic movements in, you're still activating these, but they're in concert with the rest of the movement. So, to give you an example, instead of a standard squat that we were doing a moment ago, we just have a little jump. And then we come down. And we get a little jump. Okay, now what's actually happening is that the glutes are now acting as a brake as you come down, which means they're going to work that a little bit harder through the movement. Now, with the lunge, again, position is exactly the same, but we're going to put a little jump in there as you drive up. So this time, as well as squeezing through the glutes, what we've actually got is a driving action, which means that they have to work significantly hard, as you'll probably tell. Also affects your balance. So I'll come around on that side again as well. So we're there, nice and tall. We drive up, so we're off the floor. That's where this little fella's doing its work. And again. And again. So you can add those two, and another one down on the floor. A lot of people do these days what we call mountain climbing, sort of floor running. So again, the emphasis on this, making sure that everything else is nice and balanced, is on the backward movement. So we slide right the way down and squeeze the glutes at the end of the movement. And then of course, as it becomes more natural, you'll see from the knee travelling backwards how the butt is engaged more practically, or as some people use the term these days, functionally. Okay, now, as you can probably tell, adding those couple of little bits in does make it a bit more cardio based as well. But the key thing with it is that when you go through any of those basic exercises, is really making a conscious effort to focus on the target muscle, which is obviously in this case the glutes. So if you get any questions, feel free to do the usual. Drop me an email, message me on the club app, or certainly drop us something on Facebook. As you can tell, I'm a little bit corded up at the moment, but hopefully shift it fairly quickly. And then I look forward to catching up with you soon. Cheers guys, bye.